Hi folks, today I'm going to review two lights at the same time, and the reason I'm doing that is that these are two of the latest offerings from Olight. We've got the Baton Pro at the top here and the Warrior Mini at the bottom, and at first glance and outwardly they appear to be pretty similar, in a lot of respects they are. They're both single 18650. I call them the mini 18650 size, and that you don't really get a flashlight as small as this that takes a single 18650, and the similarities are obvious, aren't they? And sticking with the similarities, they both of them have got a one click on and a one click off, and we can hold and we can cycle through the power modes as well. So I've got the 30R here, Baton 3, just to kind of show you there. This I call it a TIR lens, don't know what Olight call it, as opposed to the older iteration. They're much more perhaps usual design, and this type of thing here, along with the Warrior Mini there, they try to create quite a unique light form, and both of these are different. And then the differences then start to creep in terms of the what's known as the tactical tail cap. So we can operate certain functions, we can program certain functions from the tail cap, in terms of turning it on and off and so forth. So let's have a quick look at the specs and see what we can get here. So on the Warrior Mini, we've got a maximum of 1500, come on focus, for 4 minutes, and then it carries on another 205 minutes, height of 500 lumens. 100 meters, sorry, 110 meters throw. Let's have a quick look at the Pro, because they are very similar. 2000 lumens for 1 minute, and high mode 600 lumens for 3 hours. So there's quite a significant difference there, isn't there, between those two. 1500 lumen on turbo versus 2000. Okay, we'll take them out and just see how that performs. Digressing slightly, they both come with the usual Olight charger and the lanyard. Now, the one thing I did notice, and this, I have to confess, this bugs the hell out of me. Olight haven't said whether you can use any of third-party battery in their torches. Obviously, they won't tail cap charge if you do, but I can tell you now, this one won't work with any third-party battery that we want to put in there. So if we take out the 3500 one and say pop in a third-party battery in there, nope, it's not going to have it. I already knew it wouldn't. I've tried this with a variety of batteries, Samsung 30Q, Keep Power and the like, and it will only work with the Olight battery. Not so good if you're thinking of taking spare batteries with you somewhere, unless you want to be buying the Olight batteries. Now on the flip side, the Pro will run off just about anything that you care to put in it. Samsung 30Q, for example. And I've tried this with several different types of batteries, and it works quite happily, including turbo mode, with all of them. I'm sorry, I should say all decent quality batteries that I've tried in there. So straight away, those similarities, at least to me, now have a major consideration and difference to take into account if you're trying to decide between these two torches. Okay, so let's move on and we'll take them out and we'll see how they perform, and I can tell you now completely differently, but let's wait till dark and we'll pop out and see. Started this off now, chaps, with the Baton Pro at this very, what's that, I don't know, 10-12 metres, something like that, on its 500 lumen setting. I've done this just to make an initial point, because when I was referring to the differences in the lenses, both with the Warrior and this Baton Pro versus the older Baton, that's the older Baton with the traditional lens, and you can see why Olight have done what they have done with this particular lens. So with the older Baton there, we get a much more concentrated spot and far less spill. So on its 500 lumen setting there, by using that, I keep on calling it the TIR lens, by using the TIR lens, we're getting a much more balanced and I would say arguably more usable light, particularly on its 500 lumens, than say the older Baton. I think this one's much better, isn't it, the Pro at this closer range. You do swap one advantage for a disadvantage though. If I increase the range here, and I've got the Baton Pro now still on its 500, looking down towards that path, and as you can see it's putting out, I'm not moving the torch now, you can see it's putting out a respectable amount of light in the immediate vicinity, and probably out 20 metres, something like that. This is perhaps where the lowest setting, sorry, not the lowest setting, the 500 lumen setting on the older Baton swings back, doesn't it, then, that little bit more of a punchy beam that you lose using the TIR lens. Turbo. So if you did think you'd lost anything, you haven't now, because you've just got it back. So let's put that's the 500 lumen mode on the old Baton, 2000 on the Baton Pro. Turbo on the older Baton Pro. And the turbo's 1000 lumens on the Baton Pro, and it is just gonna still clip it on the distance, isn't it, but nowhere near the amount of uniform amount of light being thrown into this immediate distance, into this immediate vicinity. And if I move a bit closer now to the area in which we started on, we can see, can't we, just how much better that is than the old Baton. He says, there we go, that much more uniform. Okay, let me stick the old Baton away and get put the Pro back on it, excuse me, put the Pro back onto its 500 lumen setting. In fact, let's go back close again here so we can, now let's put the Warrior. So there's our Warrior Mini now on the right, using the same example of close range. Versus the Pro. So we've got 600 lumens here, haven't we, and 500 there. And again, it's a similar kind of phenomenon that we were getting with the older Pro, wasn't it? The Warrior's definitely throwing a tighter, I'd say somewhere in between the two, wouldn't you, between the older two and the and this Baton Pro. So there's the Baton Pro, Warrior Mini. They're like chalk and cheese, aren't they? Baton Pro Turbo, close range, which is why you really see how impressive this is. And then the Warrior Mini on turbo at close range. There's no real comparison, is there? They're completely different. Let's open up the range again and go back to where we were. I've got the Pro still on turbo here, and there's the Warrior, and then our turbo mode on the Warrior Mini now, and the Baton Pro. So the Baton Pro putting out 2000 lumens versus the Warrior Mini, what was it, 1700? That more concentrated beam adding the distance on, as opposed to, one last example close, we turn the Pro off and compare the Warrior Mini now to, as our older Baton. So the TIR lens still isn't beating the bang for buck in terms of the more traditional lens if you want the 500 lumens and a little bit of the extra distance, is it? But the older Baton can't do that either. So I just heard something creeping around behind me. Yeah, whichever way you put it though, let me get them back into the right hands again. So now I've got the Warrior Mini on the right. They're both extremely impressive, aren't they? What I'll do now is I'll have a walk around and see how this temperature control is impacting it. 1 minute apparently before the step down on the Pro, and 4 minutes on the Warrior. That's going to be dependent on the temperature, or the ambient temperature. It's pretty cold tonight, so I'm suspecting I'm going to get a bit more than that, but we shall see. Hi folks, we're quite a bit further on now. I've got the Baton Pro here just on its highest mode. I have been running them both as often as I can on turbo, and what's apparent, the Baton Pro with that extra 500 lumens really is stepping down around the 1 minute, not much more. It's I suppose understandable for its size and power output, but it doesn't like for any great length of time that turbo mode. And there's the turbo mode again, just so you can see exactly how impressive that is. Let me go to my Warrior Mini on its 500 lumen mode, turbo, Baton Pro, Warrior Mini. Like chalk and cheese, aren't they? Let me just get some distance. I've been trying this a few times now, and I've got the moon there, keeps on appearing and buggering up my focus. We've got the Baton Pro there on its turbo mode at 100 meters, and that's on its high mode, turbo. Warrior Mini, in fact let me put them both on high. Baton Pro on high, Warrior Mini on high. Both together, you can see the Warrior Mini easily now blots out. Let's move to turbo on the Baton Pro, turbo on the Warrior Mini, Baton Pro. The Warrior is significantly doing that distance a lot better, isn't it? And I think Olight have done themselves much of a favour here. You know, as I move down this kind of lake, they're only claiming 100 and something meters, aren't they? 100 meters plus in the manual. But we're getting out towards 150 now, and it's really doing that quite easily. And I'm much more comfortable now, to be honest, using the Warrior on this high mode. Yes, the manual says you've got 4 minutes, but it's not particularly getting hot. I think I'm going to get a lot longer than 4 minutes. Certainly given how cold it is tonight, as opposed to say the Baton Pro there, and I'm just not going to get that 2000 lumens for nearly as long as I am with the Warrior, as Olight have said in the manual. So which one do you actually prefer? Get them both up. Okay. I don't know. They're both pretty good, aren't they? But completely different. You folks decide. Catch you soon.